Okay guys, section 6 of chapter 3, we're going to multiply matrices together. For that to happen, there's certain restrictions to this. You just can't multiply any two things together. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. This has to be all by hand. This part of the quiz or test, you cannot use a graphing calculator. So, yeah, so pay attention. Alright, let's get to the first type of question. Example number 1. We're going to multiply this matrix times this matrix. But how do you know you can multiply these two together? You have to check out the dimensions. What are dimensions of this row? There's 2 rows by how many columns? 1, 2, 3 columns. This is a 2 by 3. And what is this here? This is commonly mixed up. This is 1, 2, 3 rows this way. There's 1 column here, 3 by 1. The only way we can actually multiply these two things together is if this condition is met. If these inner dimensions are the same. Alright? So, make sure you write that down. The inner dimensions have to be the same. If not, you can't multiply. You have to say this isn't possible. Okay? So, since they're the same, you can say yes, we can multiply. And what is the result going to be? So if this is a 2 by 3 and this is a 3 by 1, when you do multiply these together, what answer do you get? What are the dimensions of your answer? This right here. This and this. Your result will be the end. This guy by this guy. So a 2 by 1 will be your result. Let's write that right here. A matrix as a 2 by 1. So there'll be 2 rows, 1 column. There'll be 2 elements in here. Okay? So we have to find this element and we got to find this element. Now, how do you do that? Here's the process. Okay? Here's what I do. I circle all my rows in the first one. Alright, here's your process. Circle all the rows. And I circle all my columns in this one. Okay? 2 rows by 1 column. Look at that. 2 rows, 1 column. Okay? Now, circle all your rows, circle all your columns. Now here's what you do. You take the first row times the first column and you put it in the first row, first column. You're going to put it first row, first column. How do you multiply these two things together though? You take the first element times the first element. So I'm going to take 1 times 1. What about next? Plus this one times this one. So negative 1 times 3. Please understand how to do this. You have to do it by hand. Plus the last thing. 2, the last one times the last one. 2 times 4. I'm going to write it out here. I know you can do that in your head. But the answer to this actually goes right here. So what is this? 1 times 1? 1. This is minus 3. And this is plus 8. Which is equal to 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Plus 8 is 6. That's my answer. When I take this row times this column, I get one whole answer, which is 6. Now I got to get another answer right here. I'm going to take the second row times the first column. So it goes in the second row times the first column. Okay, so it goes right here. But once again, the tricky part is this. How do you multiply a whole row times a whole column? I do first element times first element. 0 times 1 is 0. Plus, I do my second element times my second element. 3 times 3, which is 9, you know, but let's just go 3 times 3. Plus the last one, negative 1 times the last one, which is 4. So negative 1 times 4. Put all these together. We got 0 plus 9 plus, this is negative 4. So 9 plus negative 4 is equal to 5 is your answer. So we put a 5 right here. Your final answer, write it nice and neat, 6 and 5 if you multiply these two matrices together. How do you multiply matrices? A row times a column, a row times a column. And you just keep doing that until you fill in all the spaces. Okay, we're going to try more of these. Alright, but that's the basics right there. Try it yourself.